my sweet friends, welcome back to my sewing room. Originally I wanted to put up a video every week, but it seems like every other week is working best for me right now. Maybe in the winter time I'll have a little bit more for you, but I am still quilting and I have my quilt out on my frame and I'll show you how much progress I have. I've got one more row of 9 patch all the way around, and then I can put the binding on it, and then I'll share that with you. Now it's cloudy and rainy outside. It has been for days, so I've been working on a few things, and that's what I'm here to share with you. Now someone said you need a bunting in your room, and I agree. It's not the one that I want, but for the upcoming holiday. Can you see it up here? I made some little flags and I have it on the little rope. I'd like to add a few more, but I may put it across my window. But I put it up here for now so you can see it. Another thing that I have done is I had this gorgeous colored top, but I hated the sleeves. They were like a puff, ruffled sleeve. But I just fell in love with this fabric, and every time I took it out of my closet, I would put it back because I loved the fabric. So since I don't love the top, but I love the fabric, this is what I have done. I have cut it up for a future project, and I just think that this is going to be so nice in a quilt. It's like a dark coral. Let me give you a close-up. And it's got little flowers with some orange, and I believe, I can't tell if it's black or navy blue, but whatever it is, I love it. So here I have it prepared for a future project, and this is just going to be adorable in a quilt. Another thing I've been working on this week, besides my quilt on my frame, I love to watch like mystery, crime solving movies. And while I'm watching those, I am sewing in there on my frame. And I know just as soon as I get that one done, I'm going to want to put another one on it. So stay tuned for that. I don't know if I'll have this one done, but you all know that I also have been working a little bit. I've got all of the pinwheel part of my quilt here for my snowman quilt. And let me just hold that up. And this is my snowman gathering pinwheel. And then I'm going to put a border. I think I'm going to put 3 borders. And I thought about putting some snowball around it, but I'm not sure. You'll just have to stay tuned for that. And then this is some of the fabric that I have already planned to go around the outer borders. And I'll just continue to work on that a little bit. I hope I'll have it ready this fall to put on my frame and have it ready for the winter time. But I have all this extra fabric, and I'll show you a picture right here. I have some 10-inch cuts that I was originally going to use for a rag quilt. And I still may make that into a rag quilt because I have so much of it. And it is the Americana fabric. But my idea here in these blocks, I've made 4. They're exactly alike. Let me show this. This is I've got 2 of them here. The Americana fabric, I keep getting 2. Put that one back. The Americana fabric, and I did this. I cut these in 2-inch strips, and I started with a 2-inch block in a log cabin pattern, but you can't hardly tell because some of the fabrics have a lot of lines and some of it has little block squares, but it is in a log cabin pattern. And I did 4 of these, And then here is what the back looks like, because as you're doing it, and I'll do a little snippet right here of how I work that, but from the center on, always press out on the outward position so it lays sort of flat. You can see that there. It's all pressed away from the center each time you add one. And so these lay pretty flat. I need to square them up just a little bit, but I think that's all of the log cabin blocks that I'm going to do. And I have this thought that I want it to do, and I'm just going to share this with you. It is a Irish chain block, and I think this is what I'm going to put around each one of these. I have plenty of fabric to make more of these, but I just think I want to do that, and then all of the other Irish chain will probably be in, well, white will be the background, and then I may use some navy and red as the chains. So we'll see. Maybe it'll all be in red, but I've got white fabric, and that will be because most of these look blue and red, and then they've got a little bit of that beige. And I thought about doing the outline in beige, but I really do want to make it the red, white, and blue. So I'm going to use the base as a white as the base. I almost forgot, hidden under these blocks were these. Now, I haven't started working on these, but I come across a quilt. Someone had quilted, and they had used some little sheep and some hearts, and I will put that quilt pattern up. Gave me such an idea because I have these in my stash, and these are just little primitive looking appliques of little sheep, different colors. I've shared them with you before, and I've been wanting to find something to do with them. Now, in this quilt that I'm showing you, they have 9 sheep. Well, wouldn't you know, 9. Now, I'm not crazy about the heart on this pattern, and I may do something different other than the hearts, and I'm not sure. I'm thinking more of maybe a little flower, different color flowers, and maybe just a primitive style fabric and daisies in the blocks where those are. But I just love this quilt, and I've been looking to do something with these little applique sheep and the little flowers, and there is various colors of these. This one has a little bird on its back. Here's another one with a red bird. This one has a blue bird. So I have 9 of those, and I'm going to work on that quilt, but I'm not sure how and when I'm going to start it, but it just gave me a great idea to use up these blocks that I have in my stash. Now, I did do a sewing room summer decorating over on my other channel. I'll put that link in the description box if you want to go watch that. I've thought about doing something a little different on this channel and getting into a little more detail of what I've got in my sewing room. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. If you want to see the decorating part of my sewing room, then go over to that channel and watch that. But if you would like to see a little more in depth about what I have stored in here, then let me know that in the comment. So not a whole lot that I have actually done because I work a lot on my frame. And so I'm just going to pull away now and let's go look at that, and I will show you how much progress. Now I love to share the back of my quilt as well as the front. And on that 60-year-old quilt of my husband's grandmother had originally put together, I decided to do what I call a lattice stitch. And a couple of you have asked me about how I do that, so I'm going to share that with you too. Okay guys, this is my setup right there in between the table and the chair in my living room that faces the TV. And this is my quilting frame. It's called a Dritz, D-R-I-T-Z quilting frame, and they're still available. I think the cheapest one right now is at Michael's, and you can order them online. And I believe that Amazon.com still carries them. So let me show you a little bit about the stitching that we were talking about. Okay guys, I think I've got you set up pretty good here. This is how I have my quilt that I'm working on. You can see over here these stitches are already done. And some of these look a little dark because those are pencil marks, which will wash out. But one of the first things that I do, and you can see where Miss Maynard had pieced in a little piece right here, and I have found several of these throughout the quilt, but I just love it. There's a story always behind a quilt, and so she was short, just a little piece, and she added that in there. And there was a couple of places that wasn't quite connected, and I had put my own little piece of yellow floral quilt on, and I'll point that out when I finish it. But to get this, what I call a lattice look, is number one, I go all the way around each block, about 1/4 of an inch away from the seam. And so I do this all the way around. You can see my stitches are not even, but that's what makes a hand quilted quilt, I think. It's because it doesn't look machine finished. And then using one of these squares over here, I have a ruler and I have a pencil. I hope you guys can see pretty good. And what I do is I will mark these from corner to corner. And it's just a little pencil line. Now, the reason I don't do the disappearing kind of pencils is because the heat from my hands actually makes it disappear, and it's just frustrating. But this works, and when I wash the quilt, it comes out. So the next one is going to be opposite, and it's going to go this way, and then this way, back the other way. The next row, you're just going to do the opposite and make your mark here, here, and here. Now, when I take my needle and thread, I go all the way around each block, 1/4 inch, and then I will go on one side of the pencil mark, and then I come back down the other side. And that's what gives that little lattice look and a little more stitching. I love a lot of stitching in my quilt. I love the stitches, and I use the white thread. And I see here I haven't quite finished one. I got this up here and then another little line, and then I'll move on over. I'm working on this over here. I will go back before I take this off and check and make sure I got all my stitches. But like I said, these little dark pencil lines that you see in here, when I give it a first wash and dry, those will all be gone, and I'll show you that at the end of this quilt. But that is how I get my lattice look. And now I'm going to turn it over and show the back to you. Okay guys, you can see I'm all the way down. I'm on the last 9-patch row, going all the way around the quilt. I worked my way from the center and worked all the way around, and this is what the back looks like. I wanted a lattice look, and I think I have achieved that. And I know it's dark in here, it's dark outside. It's been raining for days, but anyway, this is, you can still see some of my quilt pins in there. And that's the end where I left off. And I've got one more row to go all the way around it. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I'll see you in about 2 weeks, and maybe I'll have this quilt done. Have a great 2 weeks. I'll see you then.